Timer's on. Okay. All right. Okay, so we have Logic here. I decided today to start with a fresh project because I didn't really like what I came up with last time. All right. So again, just to review, what I asked you guys to do last week is to create a beat using the Ultrabeat drum synthesizer. Okay. So I recommend that you don't use the library. As I said before, when you use the library, say I open Ultrabeat, and then I go to the library, and it can take me to a different instrument, and it will change the instrument, okay? So try to use the inspector or the mixer. Remember, the mixer you can access by pressing X on the keyboard, or you can also press this little guy up here with the icon that is faders, right? So make sure you also use learn the keyboard shortcuts, okay? You can save a lot of time and frustration by using them. All right. So to open Ultrabeat, I'm going to select software instrument. You click the plus here. It opens a new instrument. And from this drop-down menu, I'm going to select Ultrabeat. Okay. Now, when I hit create, the library will open. Okay. I prefer it if you just close that right away. And now you see your inspector. Your inspector is over here. This is it's actually two channels. A two-channel view, a magnified view of the mixer. Okay, so here's the mixer, here's my instrument, here's a magnified view of it. To open the instrument, you can hover over this blue area, and when you do, you'll see that it breaks into three boxes. The one on the left is power, on and off. Okay, the one on the right will allow you to choose a different instrument if you want, but the one in the middle will open the instrument. Okay, so here's the instrument. And now you can choose your drum kit by accessing this drop-down menu and going to drum kits, okay? And you have all these drum kits to choose from, okay? I like this deep house kit. It's not bad. Okay, so let's make some house music. I'm going to do like 125 BPM, okay? And you can do this a number of different ways. Okay? I can play it on the keyboard, which I demonstrated to you guys last time. Okay, sorry, it's loud. I'm sorry. It's way too loud. Okay, you can play it on the keyboard. You can play it on the pads up here. Okay, really, it's fine. And all you want to do is make sure your metronome is on. Okay, you have to, for this first project, you have to record a beat to the metronome. All right, that's one of the requirements. Okay, so you turn on the metronome here. When you press play, you can hear it. You can also turn the metronome on and off by pressing K on your keyboard. Okay. And basically, when you press record, it'll give you a one measure count in, and then you can start recording. Okay. So I'm just gonna record a little house beat here. And I only have to do like 2 bars, and then I can loop it and work within the loop. Okay. To turn on the loop, you can either use this button here or click on the bar, and you can make the loop however short or long you want. Okay, so I'm going to loop this, and I'm going to bring up the thing I just recorded in the editor window. I can do this by double-clicking on the MIDI window here, and that'll bring it up in the editor. I can also press E on my keyboard, okay, or I can press this little scissors icon up here, which will allow me to access the editor, okay? So when I go back to beat 1, I don't hear this first MIDI note. Anyone know why? Right, it starts before beat 1. So remember, when you're working with MIDI, the transient is the initial attack of the sound. The transient triggers the whole sound. So if the transient is before beat 1, you're not going to hear it. So I just have to slide this over. Okay, and now you can see it's here. All right, so if I zoom in, you can see that these MIDI notes are not synced with the grid, okay? This one is behind the grid. This one is also slightly behind. This one is on top of the grid, okay? Oh, this one's way on top, okay? So I need to quantize this, okay? Quantizing will snap it to the grid value that I select. So I'm going to select all the notes. You can do this a few ways. You can click and drag All right, and it'll select them all. You can also press the corresponding piano key that is associated with this sound, and you just have to do it once, and it will select them all. Or you can press Command A, which is the Apple universal command for select all. That's with anything. It's not just Logic, okay? If you're writing a paper and you press Command A, it'll select all of your font. All right, and now these are quarter notes, so I'm going to select quarter note over here, and it will snap it to the grid, okay? You can press the Q, but once you select a new note, like, let me undo that, okay? So here's the unquantized MIDI. I'm going to select all, and then when I press the Q, it will snap it all to the grid. And now it's going to be in metronome perfect time, okay? So one of my first MIDI note is like orange, and the rest are red. Can anyone tell me why? What's that? Yes, it's not as loud. Okay, so it's got a lower velocity. Velocity is the digital term for volume in music, dynamics. Okay, in music it's called dynamics. What it means is volume. Okay. Now you can select an individual note, and there's a little velocity slider down here, and I can make this really quiet. Okay, I can make it loud. All right, but you can also you can click on this little guy here. I don't know what this button. Oh, it's the automation thing. And you can go down here and select note velocity, and now you can edit all the velocities simultaneously. So if I press Command A, I can drag the velocities down or up as I see fit, and of course, you know, they change color. If you want them to all be the exact same velocity, which we do because this is house music. Oops, what the? I don't know what just happened. Oh, I know what happened. I'm going to Command A. I'm going to select all. So if you want them to all be the same, let me make them different velocities so you can see this demonstration a little better. All right, so now they're all like completely different velocities. By the way, you can drag this upward if you want to see more of it, I think. Okay, so you can see a bigger, what's the word I'm looking for? Thing of it. Okay, I'm like so tired. All right, you're just gonna have to. All semester, I'm gonna be tired, so you're gonna just have to deal with all the crazy things I say. Okay, so I'm gonna select all the notes here, Command A, and they're all different colors. So to make them all the same velocity, you can either drag. Well, I always drag them to the bottom. I don't think it works dragging them up, but I'm gonna drag them all the way to the bottom. All right, until they're at 0, and I'm gonna let go. And then when I grab them again and bring them up, they're all exactly the same. Okay, so velocity goes from 0 to 127. You don't ever want 127, okay? Because you're going to blow out speakers. You're going to have clipping. You're not going to have a clean signal. So let's just say 117. That's good. And again, I want to check my signal. Oh, the metronome is. Remember that the metronome will make everything clip because Logic is not logical. And for some reason, the metronome sound goes through the master channel, which is crazy. But I still need more headroom, okay? So here's my house kit. I usually try to leave everything at 0 and do everything according. So this is loud, okay? I can turn down the velocities. Should bring down the volume a little bit. There we go. And now I have a little headroom. That's a little too low for me. So we can also, I'm going to press X to access my mixer, and I'm going to open the instrument again. And if you'll notice that when I switch on an instrument, all of these parameters change here on the right. So you do have a way within the instrument to control the sound of each sound, okay? Which, is this my kick? It's that one? Yeah. Okay, now when I press play, you can see this piano key light up, all right? And now I should be able to just take down the volume of this. There we go. And now I can go back and go into my editor, and I can bring these velocities back up. Okay, so now we've got a nice clean signal. We've got plenty of headroom. It sounds pretty good. This is a good jumping off point. All right, so now we can start adding some new. Oh my God, that is not a good sounding snare. Ugh, ugh. I guess we don't need a snare. It's house music, right? It's like the wimpiest crash I've ever heard. Nothing. No snares. No good snares. Well, we can add a snare doing another instrument. Okay, so let's try hi-hats. We got an open hi-hat. So, closed hi-hat. Where's the open hi-hat? Oh. It's F sharp. Oh no, open B flat. Why is it not playing? So that's F sharp, and then this. Okay. I don't like these hi-hats either. But that's fine. So now I'm gonna turn my loop off. You don't have to. I like to turn my loop off when I record. Okay, and I'm just gonna record one thing at a time. Okay. Here we go. I'll turn my metronome on. Okay, and now I have a little house rhythm. Again, I need to quantize these. Select all and hit the Q. And undo. And I can do, let's try eighth notes. That should work. There we go. Okay, so everything's snapped to the grid. These are a little loud, so I can select all of them and bring my velocities down to the same level. And by the way, you guys know why the term velocity is used for volume? Anyone? What does velocity mean? Speed, right? Direction. Okay. So how is that relevant to volume? Anyone? What will go fast? No, the frequency doesn't change.
Well, the highness of how high the volume is for it?
No. No. Okay, so the velocity, yes.
Is it like the sound of space? Is that what you said last time?
It has something to do with that, yeah. So what velocity means in digital production is it refers to the speed at which air is pushed out of the speakers, okay? If you hold your hands in front of those speakers, you can feel air coming out, okay? It pushes the air out. And that's one of the reasons why studio monitors don't have a mesh screen over the top. So you can actually put your hand in front and feel the air coming out, okay? Yeah.
How do you open up this velocity?
This little guy right here, this blue button in the editor window. It's called the automation button, but it's really, this has nothing to do with automation. And these are not even, so I'm going to drag them all to the bottom and then drag them all up, and they're going to be perfectly even. Okay? So now I have all my MIDI information the same volume. Okay? And I can turn off my metronome, make sure that I have headroom in my signal. And I do. Okay? And now we can go over here and... Alright, and now I can add some more hi-hats, and I'm going to do something like this. Oh, no, that's not going to work. I'm just not good. Okay, let's see. Let's try that again. Okay, that's not good, but we can fix it, right? Okay, so, oh wow, I was really off on this one. Let's drag this up. Okay, should be fine now. And I'm going to select these. These are 16th notes, so I'm going to select 16th notes, and it should quantize them, and it did. Okay. Okay, it still doesn't sound very good. Let me turn the velocities down. I want them all to be, well, actually, I don't want them all to be the same. So here's what I'm going to do. Let's hear how this sounds. It's all right. I would prefer the first one to be a lower velocity. Okay, so let's make this, and that's closer to how an actual drummer would play something like this. All right, and now I have this one, so I'm gonna get rid of all these, and what am I gonna do? Anyone remember the replicate function? Command R. I'm gonna press Command R and boop 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 boop. Okay, and there we go. All right, and I can get rid of this last one. Okay, so easy peasy, and I can make this 3 bars again. Turn on my. Okay. So I don't really like the way these hi-hats sound. I'm gonna change them. So you don't have to use just one instance of Ultrabeat. You can have as many as you want, right? So I'm going to open another instance of Ultrabeat. And this time I'm going to open the, what was that?
That was mine.
Oh, your shaker.
Yeah, that's the shaker.
All right, so this time I'm going to select the 808 kick. Kit, not kick. Where are we here? Okay, because I like the hi-hats in the 808. Now, to make this easy, what I can do is press Option. When you press Option and hold it down, it'll allow you to copy the MIDI onto a new track. Okay, so now I have the same MIDI information. I can go to this kit, my new kit. I'm going to get rid of the kick. Okay, and that's just on my new hi-hats. I'm going to go to this one, and I'm going to select these. Remember, if you press the thing, and now if I hold down Shift, it'll allow me to select these as well. I'm just going to delete that. Okay, so now I just have a kick on one, and I have my hi-hats on another, and that sounds way better to me. Okay, all right. So, and now I have more control over the mix. Okay, I can turn the hi-hats down. All right, and leave the kick there. Now, an 808 snare is a great thing. All right, so did I explain to you guys what 808 is
Yeah.
last week? What is it? It's a drum machine, right? A Roland drum machine, an analog drum machine. Classic snare. I think there's a few of them. All right, let's do, this will be my main snare. What? Oh. Okay, so what's that? D? And then what's the other snare? E? All right, so I'm just going to record a quick snare. This won't take long. I'm going to go back here. Okay, so now I have a little variation at the end. I can make this. It'll lengthen your MIDI region up here if you go beyond. Okay, so let's go ahead and quantize this. My snare. Let's do this to quarter notes. Good. Oh, it got rid of my last one. Okay. All right, now we're rolling. All right, now this sounds like it used a little more feel to me. So I'm going to add swing to the hi-hats. Remember, the swing function is a very important and integral part of the history of hip-hop and electronic music and digital production in general. So to make it sound a little more human, I have these selected. I'm just going to add the swing here, and that's going to, oh, that might not work. Nope. Why is this not working? I have to do 16 tones? That's why. Okay. So you have to go to the grid value. Now, Logic has this really dumb way of adding swing where it won't add swing to any MIDI that's on a downbeat. Okay? So as I add swing to this, you'll see that only the second of my hi-hats moves. Okay? And this is going to create what's called swing. Okay? Basically what it does is it turns eighth notes into dotted eighth notes or triplet eighth notes. Okay? So listen to the difference. Yeah, that sounds a little better to me. I might even be able to add swing to this very last snare hit. Yep. Okay, so that'll give us a little. All right, that'll give us a little more feel here. Actually, I want to dial that back a little bit. Maybe 60. Okay, that's fine. Okay. All right, I'm gonna go back to my mixer, check all my signals. They're very clean. Okay, it looks good. I have a lot of headroom. Now you're gonna want to leave headroom just because it's the way to make good sounding music. But also, we haven't even started talking about processing. Okay, so we're gonna be running these things through EQs and compressors, and you need headroom to do that because all of those things add volume. All right, so I have about 7.5 decibels of headroom here. All right, cool. And then we can take the other snare and maybe do something with that too. So that was E. All right, let's go just add one more thing. Okay. And we can do, where is that one? Oh, here. Okay, so I'm gonna select these. I'm going to quantize to probably 16th notes. Let's hear what it sounds like. It might not sound good. Okay, yeah, and that's just way too much velocity. I'm going to drag them all down, and then I'm going to leave those quiet. Let's bring that down. Now, I think one hits at the same time as the other snare. I don't want that. That's gonna boost my signal. So I'm gonna put that here. No, that doesn't sound good. Maybe after? Let's try that. Alright, that's cool. That works for me. Alright. And maybe we can turn this little end guy into a fill here. We can replicate this, put it over here. See what that sounds like. We gotta add swing to it. Oh, it's not gonna add swing because it's on a downbeat. See, that's just so dumb about Logic. Alright, that's fine. Okay, so now I have a little beat. Great. Alright, you guys all understand what I did and how I did it? Okay? Now, you can select both by holding down Shift. Will allow you to select multiple MIDI regions on multiple tracks. And I can just hit Command-R and start making my track, okay? So let's do basically everything in well, modern music anyway, works in groups of 4, okay? 4 beats to a measure, 4 bars to a section, maybe 8, maybe 16, okay? Everything is in multiples of 4. So I could take this one and make it my, I could take this first 4 bars and make that my intro, okay? So then I would need to add one more kit, and now I have a 16-bar loop with a 2-bar intro. Okay, so we'll start adding more stuff to this. Does everybody understand? All right, and maybe on my very first drum MIDI region, I can add a crash cymbal. Where's the crash cymbal? This is the other one that had it. It's a terrible crash cymbal, but you know, we gotta work with what we're working with here, okay? We gotta work with what we have. All right, there we go. And I'm a drummer, so I tend to program my drums like a drummer would play. So I'm gonna get rid of the hi-hat that hits on beat 1 because I have a snow. That's the wrong track. So I have to go back here and get rid of this, okay? Oh, and I added this to the wrong. Let's see, I can do this, and then replicate, and get rid of this crash cymbal. Okay, there we go. So at the very beginning here, you have to turn the loop off. All right, good. All right, cool. All right, so I have a little beat going. Cool. Now I want to, and we went through the different instruments, the MIDI instruments, okay? You can do that if you want. You can use the sampler. I recommend you start by using the sampler. That's the ESX24. That's this guy, okay? Depending on your instrument, if I want a bass, am I going to choose mono or stereo? Right. How about a piano? Right. Okay. So let's add a piano or something. And I'm really not going to do anything with this because I want to show you guys audio and like Apple loops and stuff. But I'm going to close my library. Right. I'm going to open the instrument. So this is what the sampler looks like. Don't worry about all this stuff down here. We're going to eventually get to that. Okay. This is the drop-down menu. This like black, I guess it's like an LED window with 3 little green dots. When you click on it, if you go down to Factory, you'll see all of the samples that are loaded into the sampler. These are all Logic stock sounds, but they are actual samples. They're recordings of people playing actual musical instruments. Okay, just one note at a time. All right. So you can select a piano. All right, and that is a sample of someone playing a piano. Okay. Now remember, whichever instrument you want your keyboard to control, you have to select R for that instrument. So now it's drums, but if I want the piano, now I have piano. Okay. Okay. So I'm just gonna add some piano just for my intro. Let's do like C minor. I love C minor. Okay, so now I have a little chord. I can go in. I'm not going to quantize this, but I will select all, and I don't want this to go past measure 3, so we'll just do that. And I like a little glissando. which is they happen one at a time. This one is a little off. I'm gonna drag that here. I'm gonna drag this one here, so that it kind of ramps up, right? Oh, stop the video.